So as you all know, Bill Burr has been in the news a lot recently because he absolutely positively despises Elon Musk as much as any one human on this earth can do that. It's the most relatable thing about him is how much he hates Elon Musk. You know, I keep saying this, but like Bill Burr is friends with Rogan. They came up at like the same time in the same comedy scene. And to the extent he's following what Rogan has been doing, he must be like disgusted by him, right? Because Bill Burr is really trying to embody, you know, the George Carlin route, the Bill Hicks route, just a thoughtful comedian who actually punches up at power, whereas Rogan's the exact opposite. He's sucked up to power and he punches down all the time, right? That's why there's more jokes about, oh, wokeness, bro, pink-haired college kids, bro. There's more of that than there is jokes against Trump. He's going to Trump's inauguration and hanging out with him. So Bill Burr released a comedy special recently, and this is a moment that people took note of. There's a moment where he goes after Israel in his comedy special. God. I don't know if I can love this guy anymore, bro. I don't know if I can love this guy any more than I do. Here we go. Let's see what he has to say.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to do that, but it's still socially acceptable to shoot a missile in the general direction of somebody you're upset with. You're like, dude, there was like kids over there. This is my favorite response. Well, you know, they're using kids as human shields. It's like, well, you got to work around that. Jesus Christ, if I'm mad at my neighbor and I want to beat the shit out of him, but he's holding a baby, right? I wouldn't come in and try to punch him through the baby. Yeah, you go in, you know, you throw a hook, you sweep the legs. You do it on the lawn so the baby bounces off the grass, all right? There's fucking rules to this shit.
The whole human shields thing, yes, that's always been a fucking head scratcher, right? That's always been a head scratcher. If some terrorist took over your kid's school, and let's say there's 20 kids in the classroom with the terrorist, would it be reasonable for the police or the feds like to say, quick, drone strike the school? I mean, obviously not. People would be like, you kind of can't do that because there are 20 innocent kids in there. Nobody would be like, well, the terrorist is using them as human shields, so I guess you got to kill them all. Like that's unconscionable. But somehow, when you make it about Gaza and Palestine, all of a sudden, Israel thinks it's a reasonable response. Bro, they're using human shields. First of all, there's no evidence of that. Second of all, even if there was, that means you can't shoot. You can't shoot because then you're saying, whoopsie, we kill the kids. It just proves you don't give a fuck about the kids, which at this point is obvious when it comes to the IDF. I mean, clearly they don't care. They literally they view them as future terrorists, right? When you look at the death count, the low number is 50,000. It's nowhere near, that's way higher. I've seen as high as up to 200,000 or more. 189,000 was one, just over 100,000 was another. We're talking about, we're talking about literal genocide here. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about carpet bombing schools and hospitals and UN buildings and killing aid workers and sniping kids in the face, as the New York Times reported. We're talking about amputating arms and legs with no anesthesia because Israel banned the anesthesia from getting in there. We're talking about literal concentration camps where they've raped Palestinians and they have it on video. And then you had protests afterwards where the Israeli society was out there saying that these prison guards have the right to rape. I wish I was kidding. I'm not kidding. I wish I was kidding, but we have the video. It happened. We know it happened, right? So, like, they don't care. They just don't care. They don't view them as human. And you don't take my word for it. You go listen to the top Israeli government and military officials and the things they've said since day one of this recent conflict. And they are clear. These are human animals. We will treat them as such. We don't view them as human. Kill every man, woman, and child. This is what they say. And then they do it, right? And then the veneer they put on it to the West is, bro, we didn't want to kill the kids, but like they were using them as human shields. Well, that's where Bill Burr's joke comes into play. And he's like, okay, kind of got to work around that. If I want to beat the shit out of my neighbor and he's holding a baby, I can't punch through the baby, can I?
I do think it's hilarious that college kids are all freaking out, fucking supporting the Palestinians. How dare the Israelis do what our country has been doing for 20 years? What the fuck? You don't do that shit, we do. Oh, you didn't like that one, did you? That was a little too close. No, all right.
To be fair, It was those same kids that were protesting the Iraq War and the Afghanistan War, right? It's the same people. The same people who've been screaming against U.S. imperialism and the invasion of Iraq and the invasion of Afghanistan and the illegal drone war and all that shit. It's all the same people now who are like, holy shit, now we're arming and funding Israel committing an outright genocide, right? And so when it comes to the numbers, yeah, the U.S., I don't know. Actually, at this point, I actually don't know. Israel may have surpassed the entire war on terror in terms of casualties. And if they haven't yet, they will. But yes, the U.S., I mean, we're an evil empire, and we've killed hundreds of thousands of innocent people, and we've invaded countries illegally, and all that is completely true. But what's so astonishing for this moment is that in such a short time frame, they actually have gone above and beyond, right? Like, just to give one example, we had a moratorium on using the 2,000-pound bombs in Fallujah because we knew, like, okay, yeah, you can get some bad guys, but then you're also going to get massive numbers of civilians. They're fucking 2,000-pound bombs in a city environment, of course. Israel's like, fuck it. Rock and roll, 2,000-pound bombs? Shit, we'll drop it on a hospital. We don't give a fuck. So they actually have gone above and beyond. And by the way, Trump recently sent them more 2,000-pound bombs and gave them his blessing to use them. Biden temporarily froze them, but then even after he unfroze them, he still had a moratorium on them using them. I didn't know that until recently when I was reading an article on it, but it's true. So, I mean, it is true. It is sort of like in such a short time frame, and the sheer barbarism of it is literally an order of magnitude worse, right? Like I swear, you go and look at the quotes from the top Israeli officials. People say this about tweets too from Israeli officials. Like, if you ever click translate on a Hebrew tweet, it's written in the laws of nature that bitch could have came straight out of Mein Kampf. Like, it sounds like Goebbels. It sounds like Himmler. It sounds like Hitler, right? The vermin, the parasites, kill them all. Like, it's a common occurrence. Go try it yourself, right? It's a law of nature at this point. And so, yeah, as bad as the U.S. empire is, and it's fucking horrible and it's bad, there's no denying that in the short time frame, and the openness of the atrocities and the war crimes and the massacres and the genocide, it truly is like the U.S. we still tried to tell a story about like, oh, bro, fighting for freedom and democracy and stuff, bro. Whereas the Israelis are like, kill them all, every last one of them, even the women and children, right? So there is still a little bit of a difference. But again, it's the same people protesting both. So, I think those are the people literally trying to save the country. But anyway, there you have it. Bill Burr, keep it up. We love you. Never become like Joe Rogan. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.